Now sure, that looks cool, but let's make it a million times better with one element. Sound design. Talking about sound design. So what really is it? In my opinion, sound design is what takes you from watching something to actually being there. Sound design is a range of things. It could be sounds for things that you see in the frame, like a car moving and the sound for that. It could be things that aren't actually in the frame but you would hear when you're there and in the moment, like ambience and buzzing and things like that if you're in a countryside. Or it could be things that aren't there or you wouldn't hear if you're actually there, but adds to the video and the atmosphere that it's creating. This could include whooshes, rises, or even hits. JRLE talks about in one of his videos about sound design, and he had a triangle to represent the different aspects of it and where they go in correlation to each other. At the top, he had voiceovers. This is meant to be above all the other sounds and the easiest to hear so that it has the most impact and the viewer can clearly hear what the person is saying. Under that was music. Music is kind of like the baseline of the sound for the video. Under that was sound design as a whole. So this is things like all the sound effects, the rises, the whooshes, the hits, the ambience, all that stuff, the cars in the frame, everything. And then that all ties together to create sound design as a whole with the music and the voiceovers. In my opinion, sound design should be invisible in the way that the viewer, when watching the video, shouldn't know that those sounds were added in post. It should be there so they feel like they're actually there and it was recorded at that time, so then it's more realistic. So there's times that I'll add ambience or other sound effects that you won't even hear in the video, but if it wasn't there, it'd feel like something's missing. So there's a lot of times, mainly with the ambience, that it's really low, but you can't recognize it unless it was taken away. So the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that not all sounds you'll see in videos, and I personally do it as well, they're not always forwards. So things like a woman's breast sounds normal one way, but if you reverse that clip, it sounds like this. So it just adds a different feel and it creates like suspense to the video and impact. So not always you'll hear the sound forwards, like gunshots as well. If you reverse them, they sound like this. So play around with sound, put it backwards and then try speed it up and slow it down, because I reckon sound design is something you have to play with and get used to. It's not something you can really there's no rules to it as such. It's just something, it's like video. You've just got to play around with it, figure out what works, and over time you'll get better at it. I'm still learning, but what we're going to do now is I'm going to take you over to one of my projects in Final Cut Pro and explain all the sounds, what they are, where they are, how they've been used, so you can get an idea of how I use them in my edits and how you guys could use them. So I'll see you in Final Cut Pro. Okay guys, so we're in Final Cut Pro now, and this is one of my projects for an Instagram edit. And if you guys want to see the full Instagram edit, I'll leave a link in the description below. I can't play the track that was in the edit because of copyright. So anyway, let's get straight into this. So the first thing you see, this is the audio down here, all the green stuff. I got to disable that audio track, cool. Okay, so as it opens, there's a shot of a car going along the countryside. So I've used a car driving sound effect with an ambience of the countryside to get this type of shot. So there was also a whoosh sound effect in the middle of that where the clip speeds up. And something I wanted to let you guys know is don't use the same whoosh sound effect for every speed up or zoom through transition, because then it makes it look really plain and unnatural. Use different ones. So if you look through the edit, at the start there's one type of whoosh, and then if you go to something like this, use different whooshes for different types of movements. That just creates a bit more variance, I think the word is. It's just not the same for everything, is what I'm trying to say. So in the middle of the edit, there is a riser sound effect. So this riser sounds like this. it basically creates suspense and a build-up. So I like to use it for zoom, like this long zoom through the hyperlapses, because it builds up just before the clip cuts, and then you can have something else, and it just feels like there's more of a build-up, if that makes sense. So risers are great for that type of stuff, and if you've got a lot going on, like a lot of movement and using different sound effects, but then there's a longer clip, use a riser and it would just feel like it's still quick and there's something going instead of it just being silent. So another thing I always do in my edits is fade audio in and out. So as you can see here for the skateboarding, and for a lot of them, like the city sounds, the ambiences, the helicopter one, they're all faded in and out of the sound effects, so that makes it more subtle, and there's not as much, it's not a quick cut. So if I were to play it back now, it fades out, whereas if I took the fade away, it would sound like this. So it doesn't sound as good, so fade your audio in and out, so fade it in before the actual noise for that clip starts, and finish the noise after the clip ends and fade it out. And then it'll be more subtle and it will look a lot better when watching it, instead of it just being straight cuts. Just practice with it, and I will get back to you guys when we're sitting back down. So as you can see, you can take an amateur looking video, add sound to it, layer it, and you can create something that looks a lot more professional and immersive to the viewer, and make them feel like they're there and in the moment instead of just watching it on screen. So experiment with sound, learn it, have fun with it, and I guarantee you your edits will go from here to here so quickly, just from that one element, which is sound design. And as you guys saw at the start of the video, that video I played looks so much better with sound design, and it was just a lot more exciting to watch. So do that with your videos, and I guarantee they're gonna look so much better. So guys, this is the end of the video, and I just wanted to let you know that I started selling merch. If you guys want to buy it, check it out. There will be the top link in the description below. You can just go check it out, whatever. But if you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out, then give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more edits and video tutorials, things like this. And if you've got any other ways to do sound design, or if you've got any other ideas, drop them in the comments below, help each other out. This is what it's all about. And until next time guys, see ya. Adios.